based on multiple conversations that I've had, it does seem like the most likely scenario is that Kelsey Plum would move on from the Aces.
My basketball mind, though, is still having a hard time wrapping my head around Kelsey leaving and going to an org like the Valkyries.
Remember when the Las Vegas Aces were absolutely unstoppable? Yeah, those days are over. The once dominant dynasty is crumbling faster than a sandcastle at high tide, and it all starts with Kelsey.
What's been a little surprising, and I think why there's so much conversation, at least from what I'm seeing, about Kelsey Plum is that during the season when the rest of the core Aces, the other, they're the core four, Asia, Chelsea, Jackie Young, and Kelsey Plum. So when her other three, counterparts, they signed extensions, she did not.
See Plum packing her bags. But hold on, there's more. Asia Wilson is livid, Coach Becky Hammond is losing her cool, and the rest of the league is just waiting for the Aces to fall. You're about to witness the decline of an empire, and
you mentioned that she did not sign an extension, and former general manager Natalie Williams told me before she and the Aces parted ways that, Kelsey was offered an extension and declined.
Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of it. Are you ready? Let's dive in. You know what's worse than losing a game? Losing your star player. That's exactly what the Aces are facing right now as Kelsey Plum, the sharpshooter who's been lighting up the scoreboard, is eyeing the exit. But it's not.
When it comes to somebody like Kelsey Plum, she's coming off a difficult personal year, and she's emphasized that she wants to take time for herself, which is why she said that she pulled out of Unrivaled. So we're not necessarily in the position to, with respect to what she said, to ask her directly, and that would be the best indicator here. But of course, you mentioned my reporting, I can pull and cite a few quotes that kind of imply that, the same way that Satu said that she's working with the Dallas organization, that's been the implication, that the Aces are working to find a situation where, quote unquote, everybody's happy, which is exactly what Becky Hammond said to me about a month ago in regards to Kelsey Plum's situation.
Just about basketball anymore. Something is brewing in that locker room, and it's definitely not team spirit. Let's break this down. Plum's stats from last season were fire. We're talking 17.8 points per game, 4.2 assists, a solid 42% from the field, and 36.8% from beyond the arc. On paper, she's the coach's dream. But in reality, it's becoming a nightmare. Remember that heated exchange between Plum and Coach Hammond during the playoffs? Yeah, that wasn't a one-time thing. It was like watching a...
Becky also, I think she made the statement, something along the lines like, it's just not, we're not gonna look the same that we've looked in the past, right? Which makes total sense, right? Again, as I just said, you kind of in your mind have this idea that teams are always gonna look the way they look, and the reality is that's just not possible.
Pressure cooker explode. Hammond was fuming, calling out Plum for her performance and the team's lackluster effort. And Plum? She wasn't exactly smiling and nodding along, but wait, there's more. That playoff game against the New York...
What I do think is interesting is that there is a team that will be coming to the league this year, the Golden State Valkyries, and a part of me just kind of feels like that might be a fresh start for Kelsey Plum if she does decide that she wants to move on from the Aces. To me, it gives them an opportunity to have a great perimeter scorer, which we know that Kelsey Plum is, but it also will add a little bit of familiarity for her because the new head coach was the former assistant coach in Las Vegas, and I think that could also be something that plays well where you're getting a new environment and you're getting a new experience, but you're also still working with someone who knows you and knows you well, so you get a bit of the best of both worlds.
Liberty Plum scored a measly 6 points, shooting 2 for 9. Ouch. It's like she forgot how to play basketball overnight. Or maybe, just maybe, there's more going on behind the scenes now. Let's talk.
Yeah, I definitely would not rule that out. Something that really stands out to me is that, Kelsey is a Southern California native, and San Francisco is, it's within the state. California is a large state, but it's still within the state. And I think that stands out. To me, that's the most intriguing destination for Kelsey. I totally understand the fit. You mentioned perimeter scoring for the Valkyries, and they'll absolutely need that. But I think also she brings this, veteran championship mentality that Natalie Nakaze has emphasized that she wants to cultivate in the Golden State. And so to me, that would just be knock out of the park. And they have the room to do it. They're just building their roster. Cap space is not going to be a problem. So that stands out to me, definitely.
Talk about where Plum might be headed. The Golden State Valkyries are chomping at the bit, and they've got $1.2 million in cap space to play with. They're not just looking for any player, they want a star to build their team around.
She and Natalie were really close. Like, I remember the first conversation I had with Natalie Nakaze, she was telling me that she spent the whole offseason doing Pilates with Kelsey Plum because Kelsey had roped her into it. And they were waking up at like 6 a.m. together to go to these Pilates sessions. And I remember telling Natalie, like, that is something I would never do. I could never, like, wake up that early. And she was like, well, you should. Like, you should consider it. Kelsey has, like, changed my life by us doing that. And that's, like, something, a small thing. It doesn't really go into any reporting or anything, but their relationship seems to be really strong. And so, I wouldn't be surprised.
And guess who fits that bill? But it gets even juicier. Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakasu used to be an assistant coach with the Aces. You know what that means? She and Plum have history. Good history. It's like a reunion tour just waiting to happen, you might be thinking. But what about the Aces? Surely, they won't let her go that easily. Well,
that was actually the context of the quote that Becky Hammond had given me, where she said, like, Kelsey is very core to this organization. She's very important. And so, we're giving her space to figure out what she needs for herself, but we also want to make sure that we as an organization are in a good position.
Here's where it gets interesting. Plum didn't sign an extension with the team, and there are loud whispers about a potential sign and trade deal. The Valkyries are in the mix, but so are the Chicago Sky. It's like a high.
I just have a very hard time imagining the Las Vegas Aces without that core four. They were all drafted there, right? I mean, they were all drafted there. And so, look, as a Warriors fan, losing Klay Thompson, I can sort of relate to this, but that would be quite a blow for a team like Vegas. They came up together, they won 2 championships together.
High-stakes game of musical chairs, and Plum is holding the best seat. And remember when A'ja Wilson was all about team first loyalty? Well, those words are starting to ring pretty hollow right about now.
Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I think, that's a combo.
The self-proclaimed queen of the Aces is watching her kingdom crumble, and trust me, she's not taking it well. You'd think with her MVP status, A'ja would be sitting pretty, but the reality is, those numbers aren't telling the whole story. Behind the scenes.
And I understand that there could be personal reasons, but you're coming from a top-notch organization in Vegas, and Joe Lacob as the owner for the Valkyries, he's setting them up nicely to begin. They're gonna have the facilities, they're gonna have all the things. But even if you just bring Kelsey Plum to the team that they have right now, as constructed, I don't think that would be enough.
Things are getting messy. Real messy. Picture this, it's the playoffs, tensions are high, and what does A'ja do? She gets into a heated exchange with Kelsey Plum. Now, we've all had our moments, but questioning your teammate in the heat of the playoffs?
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world, that's great, it looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team.
That's a whole new level of drama, teammates questioning each other's commitment in the middle of a crucial series? That's a whole new level of yikes. But hold on, there's more. A'ja Wilson has been venting her frustration, and it's not just about Kelsey Plum. She's calling out the entire team, saying, "We need to be better."
But also it goes hand in hand. That's it. And if I get fined for this, I'm terribly sorry, but it's ridiculous. We've been going through this all season, so everybody got to their guy.
Can't just rely on 1 or 2 players to carry us. Everyone needs to step up. Sounds reasonable, right? Except when you're the one saying it while your own leadership is being called into question. Let's be real for a second. A'ja's passion is unquestionable, and her drive is undeniable. But it's her approach that's starting to cause problems. Some teammates appreciate her high energy, demanding style, but others? Not so much. It's like walking on eggshells in that locker room, and guess who's wearing the heaviest boots? You know what they say about pressure creating diamonds, but
to be able to get Kelsey Plum, and to your point, Callie, they have the cap space in the room to attract some really good free agents in this free agent period. So I'm not putting it past anybody to go for it immediately.
it can also crack foundations. And right now, the Aces foundation is looking shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Their frustration isn't just about losing games or
And something else interesting to me is that the Aces seem like they have a lot of decisions to make, and they haven't replaced their GM. And I was reading, your reporting, and I saw all this like we're making decisions by committee, which I found curious. How long is that going to go on for?
even losing players, it's about losing control. And for someone who's been the face of the franchise, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Here's the thing, Asia's reaction to all this turmoil isn't just...
When I spoke to Becky last month, it was unclear. I requested to interview Natalie Williams recently, and the Aces declined. So obviously this is something that they don't want to talk about right now. But to me, it seems quite unlikely that they're going to even make a hire. And I know that it feels like they're trying to leave that up in the air. That's what Becky Hammond tried to, I think, imply. And when I've spoken to Nikki Fargas, team president,
about her. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. The Aces have been riding high on their own hype for so long that they've forgotten the saying, pride comes before the fall. And boy, are they falling hard.
The whole league has been pissed off for the last 8 months, and my players are in commercials and this and that and being freaking celebrities, and you get distracted.
But don't get too comfortable, because this roller coaster isn't over yet. Coach Becky Hammond has been watching this drama unfold, and she's about to drop a truth bomb that'll make Asia's meltdown look like a minor tantrum. You know that feeling when you're watching a car crash in slow motion? That's exactly what's happening with the Las Vegas Aces right now, and Coach Becky Hammond is in the driver's seat, desperately trying to hit the brakes. Remember when Hammond was popping champagne and basking in championship glory? Well, those days are long gone. Now she's stuck playing referee.
There's so much change facing this team. We talked about Natalie Nakaze leading the Golden State Valkyries, but then we also have Tyler Marsh gone to, take the helm at the Chicago Sky. No general manager. I'm told that the assistant coaching staff might not even be complete. Like we might hear of another hire soon, which is, I'm trying to kind of navigate in my mind how that would look, because right now they already have 3 assistants. So a lot is changing, and they also only have 6 players under contract for this upcoming season.
To a team of divas who seem more interested in their Instagram followers than their free throw percentages. Let's be real again. Hammond's not just mad, she's disappointed. And in the world of sports, that's like your mom telling you she expected better from you. It stings, doesn't it?
You look at their unrestricted free agents, like we've already talked about Kelsey Plum, but what about Tiffany Hayes and Alicia Clark and Sydney Colson? Like those are people that, feel so important to this team, and all of that is kind of just in flux right now. So you would hope to see some decisions soon. I guess that's what this time is all about.
But here's the kicker, Hammond's not wrong. She's watching her once cohesive team fall apart faster than a cheap pair of sneakers. You'd think winning a championship would bring a team closer together, right? Wrong. For the Aces, it seems like success has gone to their head.
We have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then, you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year. It just won't. And I'm sad about that, because I really like that group. They were a pain in my ass, but I was a pain in their ass too.
It's faster than you can say dynasty, and Hammond's not having it anymore. Here's the thing, Hammond's frustration isn't just about losing games. It's about losing the very soul of her team. She's watching players who once bled for the game now more concerned with their brand deals and TV appearances. It's like they forgot their basketball players first and celebrities second. But hold on, there's more. Hammond isn't just venting to the press or sulking in her office, she's
And when Becky said she expected this team to look different, and you referenced that earlier, Tarika, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe not to see some of those players who, Callie just named. Maybe we don't see Alicia Clark back again, I don't know. It seems like Tiffany wants to return to the Aces, so we'll see about that. But there's some questions for them at the center spot, right? So it's things like that I thought it could look different. I did not expect the core 4 to change. I guess we'll see.
Dropping truth bombs that are shaking the very core of the Aces empire. After their playoff elimination, Hammond hinted at a major shakeup for the 2025 season. In her own words, she gave a serious reality check. Hammond essentially said, "Look, I love you all, but this isn't working." It's like breaking up with someone because you care about.
There's something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball.
About them too much to watch them self-destruct. Harsh? Maybe. Necessary? Absolutely so. What does this mean for the Aces? A complete overhaul. We're talking fresh faces, new attitudes, and, hopefully, a return to what made them champions in the first place, their love for the game. But before you start feeling too sorry for Hammond and the Aces, let's zoom out for a second. While Vegas is tangled in their soap opera, other teams are quietly building something special. Take the Indiana Fever, for example.
Building quality depth is going to be important. When you have a core three like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well.
They're not making headlines for locker room drama or Twitter beefs. Instead, they're carefully assembling a team that could dominate for years to come. Here's the wild part. While the Aces are imploding like a poorly made souffle, the Indiana Fever are quietly cooking up something delicious. And no, it's not just because they landed the hottest rookie in WNBA history. The Fever are building a dynasty the right way, and it's time we all start paying attention. Let's be real for a second. The Fever's front office is making moves that are turning heads across the league. But here's the kicker, they're doing everything the Aces aren't.
The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2012. So I just want to thank everybody for coming.
Work? Check. Humility? Double check. It's almost like they looked at Vegas and said, "Yeah, we're going to do the opposite of that." Remember Kelly Krausoff? She's back as team president, and she's not messing around. This woman knows.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position. And I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
How to build a winner. She was the mastermind behind the Fever's 2012 championship team, and now she's back to do it again. But this time, she's got some serious backup. Enter Amber Cox as the new GM. She's got experience with both the Connecticut Sun and Phoenix Mercury, two teams that know a thing or two about success. And let's not forget about Stephanie White returning as head coach. She led the Fever to the WNBA Finals in her first year as head coach back in 2015.
This is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you. They're going to have everything they need to be successful.
Now she's back, older, wiser, and ready to take this team to the promised land. But here's the thing, the Fever aren't just drafting talent, they're creating a culture around their superstar, Caitlin Clark, and it's one that players actually want to be a part of. No Twitter beefs, no locker room drama, just good, old-fashioned basketball and teamwork. It's almost like they're running a professional sports organization or something. Crazy, right? And guess what? It's working. Players are buying in, the team is gelling, and there's a buzz around the Fever that we haven't seen in years. It's like watching the early stages of a superhero team coming together. You just know something special is brewing. But here's the real question, is this just good planning, or is it the basketball gods' way of serving up some